You're welcome to The Gavel. I'm Linda Akibi. It's almost the end of a third week of a total lockdown of Abuja, Lagos and Ogun states by the federal government over the coronavirus. Legislative activities in the National Assembly have also been suspended for more than 3 weeks to prevent the spread of the virus. This means that important legislative work has been put on hold as Nigeria confronts this global tragedy. We will be speaking with Senator Ibrahim Oluriegbe and the public analyst, Mr. Ezo Nyechere, on interventions of the National Assembly to confront the pandemic and what a post-COVID-19 parliament should look like. But before the interviews, let's take a look at this report on the impact of COVID-19 on the federal legislature. The bustling lobby in the National Assembly is almost empty, and it's been this way since March 24th, when the National Assembly went on recess because of the coronavirus pandemic. The COVID-19 pandemic is an unfolding global tragedy with far-reaching effects, and some of the consequences for the federal legislature is that the consideration and passage of critical bills and other legislative activities have been put on hold.
By now, as you're all aware, we are just trying to settle down. Haven't passed the budget to run from January to December, and along the line, the budget implementation is impossible as a result of COVID. And don't forget that the borrowing plan that was put together by the president, that was passed by the Senate, is yet to be passed by the House of Reps.
In the National Assembly, reaction to the outbreak of the virus began on the 29th of January, way before the first case of COVID-19 was recorded in Nigeria.
Several countries have taken measures to prevent...
The House of Representatives asked the federal government to declare a public health emergency in the country following the outbreak of the virus in Wuhan, China. The Senate President inspected the isolation center located at the University of Abuja Teaching Hospital, Wagwalada.
The leadership of the House.
Just before the National Assembly was shut down, the House of Representatives accelerated the passage of an emergency economic stimulus bill through first, second and third reading. The bill was to establish tax rebates for companies to sustain them and prevent a massive disengagement of employees. During the lockdown, the leadership of the National Assembly met with key government officials and agencies in the forefront of managing the COVID-19 pandemic to find out the level of the federal government's preparedness in managing the crisis.
The answer to my question is that they're not being paid a hazard allowance.
No, the answer you're right on
that you don't know
is that I am not aware.
I don't want to waste the resources.
But public analysts feel the National Assembly should have done more and are also concerned about the expenditure of funds to manage COVID-19 without appropriation by the National Assembly.
Almost every parliament in the world I know, especially for countries that are tackling the coronavirus pandemic very well, for each one of them, they have specific coronavirus legislations. The US has 3, the UK has 1. Then there is the conditional cash transfer and the grains the federal government asks to be distributed to Nigerians. Who is going to be looking and ensuring that all Nigerians get it and not that it's used for politics?
There should have been a proper framework that will have authorized this lockdown. In essence, I believe that this money should have been pulled together, whether from the tax-deductible corporate sector donations, CBN funding, the real treasury funding, and then come together in this framework law. You do the palliatives, you do the economic part, you also do the human rights part so that Nigerians are properly guided.
As Nigeria and the rest of the world tries to manage the COVID-19 pandemic, keen observers of the legislature want the National Assembly to urgently draft a framework law on COVID-19 and provide effective oversight on the use of public resources to manage the pandemic.